Yo, Beth. That shit crazy.
On a Tuesday, it's All Even with your boy Barry Grant. You can catch me on Instagram and Twitter at All Even Podcast. You can listen to the show on SoundCloud as well as YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, and wherever you find your podcasts available. What a beautiful Tuesday night it is. Lots to get into. The Jets finally did it. They finally did it. And I'm going to tell you that Jet fans shouldn't be happy right now. So I'm definitely going to get into that. Major League Baseball season has started. The Mets have already let DEGROM down, and we're going to talk about that as well. Yankees acquire ODOR from the Rangers for a bag and maybe some potato chips. We'll talk about some NBA news as well. And then the greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week. So let's just jump right into it. I have a son that's 3.5. He's about to be 4 years old. And I remember when he was very, very young, I used to buy certain toys that would, get his attention. Shiny stuff, things that light up, things that spin, all those things. And he would play with it for a while, and he would get tired of it and move on to the next thing. And I would constantly have to keep buying new stuff, new toys that are very similar, maybe different lights, maybe a different packaging, but the end result is always the same. He'll play with it, he'll get tired of it because he doesn't know the importance of taking care of his toys and making sure they're neat and putting them back and stuff like that. He doesn't understand the concept. He just sees a toy, he likes it, okay, I don't like it anymore, I'm going to throw it away. And then you as the parent have to pick up the scraps behind him. This is very similar to the New York Jets. The New York Jets yesterday traded Sam Darnold for a 2021 sixth-rounder, and they're going to get a second round and a fourth round pick in 2022 in the draft. And this is all for a guy that they drafted 3 overall a couple of years back. Sam Darnold is 23 years old. He's going to turn 24 in June. He's already had 3 years of NFL experience under his belt. He's had 2 head coaches as well. This would have been the 3rd. So, the Panthers end up getting a young, experienced franchise quarterback that they can still mold. Who won this deal? I don't have to tell you. Panthers did, right? But let's go back to the Jets, of how I say that they're like children. The Jets always look at that new shiny toy, and it always catches their eye. And they always go ahead and indulge themselves into playing with it. And just like children, they'll get bored of it or they don't know how to take care of it, and then they discard said toy. Now, when I say toy in regards to the Jets, I mean quarterbacks. The Jets don't understand what it takes to develop and help young quarterbacks. There's a meme that was out today. It was really, really funny that you see all of these doors with they're all grimly closed with some markings on it. And the next door says Zach Wilson. So before that it was Mark Sanchez, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, now potentially Zach Wilson. It's funny because it's true. The Jets have been the land of misfit toys in regards to quarterbacks. They don't know what to do with them. They'll go up there and trade all their draft picks, or they'll go get one in the second round and say, hey, this is our guy. But instead, what they do is they'll have 3 different coordinators, 2 different coaches. They'll have a different wide receiver core every other year. The offensive line will be terrible. There's no QB coach that has any type of cachet to be able to help this quarterback. So what ends up happening? These quarterbacks flush out. They end up either flushing out of the league or heading to some other team. It's a Jet problem. Sam Darnold is a decent quarterback. He's not bad, and he's not Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. But guess what? You know what he is? 23 years old. And at 23, you can still be able to figure it out. The Jets, no. They saw the new shiny toy, Zach Wilson. The one with all the spinning lights that can throw the ball across his body 70 yards downfield. The kid from BYU that didn't play any high-level competition. But yeah, they still love him because he has Patrick Mahomes skills. Right. Same thing we heard about Sam Darnold. The kid has such special, unique talents. You know, if he throws an interception, he doesn't dwell on it. He can go back and come back and throw a 60-yard pass, touchdown on a dime, which he's done on occasion when he's had the resources and the help and the skill position players. But what have the Jets done? Nothing, because they just don't know what to do with them. So they'll go ahead and say, we have to draft our guy. Mike McCagnon drafted Sam Darnold, granted. Now you have Joe Douglas. So they have to go with the cliche line, we have to draft our guy. So you just traded a 23-year-old for a 21-year-old with no experience. But you're going to tell your fans that you're going to do everything in your power to help this kid? So why couldn't you do everything in your power to help the other kid? It confuses me. But here's what I've realized about this new regime. This is it. This is it for them. They are going to make sure Zach Wilson succeeds because they have to. If Sam Darnold goes to Carolina and plays very, very well and has a breakout season where he may be, comeback player of the year or something like that, the Jets are going to be in big trouble. Zach Wilson has to work. Because if he doesn't work, it's going to set the Jets back 10 plus years. I'm not kidding. Not 5, I'm talking about a decade. Because for you to give up on a kid like that, and then he goes out and performs for another franchise and they give him the bag, and then they end up being a very, very good, respectable franchise going forward while you're still trying to figure it out and still trying to figure out how this wheel works and how these quarterbacks are doing what they're doing and why aren't our quarterbacks producing, it's a you issue. And the Jets will be suffering for years to come if Zach Wilson doesn't pan out. So I hope it does. Because if it doesn't, I don't want to be Woody Johnson, Chris Johnson, Joe Douglas, whatever Douglas, Hugh Hefner, whoever they have there. I don't want to be those guys because Jet fans will probably finally had enough at that point. And now you're going to have to convince your fan base that you guys actually know what you're doing. Instead of the fan base convincing themselves, okay, cool, I can see how they got rid of Sam, but we got Zach Wilson now. All of those talks are going to stop. So I'm hoping that they have a plan in place for this draft. I hope that they go ahead and give Zach Wilson all that he needs. Because if he's smart enough, he will go ahead and look at Sam Darnold. He will call Sam Darnold on the phone. And he would ask Sam, how is it really over there? How do they treat you? What is the infrastructure like? What is talking to Joe Douglas really like? Not when I'm throwing darts on my pro day, but when we're 0-5? What does that feel like? And I'm sure Sam will give him an honest answer and tell him the truth. That the Jets always want to put on a good face, like they know what they're doing. But in hindsight, they really don't. They're just that little kid that sees a shiny toy, plays with it for a while, doesn't understand the importance of preserving or keeping that toy in good condition, and then they just discard it and wait for the next shiny toy to appear. So I am rooting like hell for Sam Darnold. I'm rooting like hell for Matt Rule and the Carolina Panthers. I hope that they're going to be able to have some success, because I think Sam Darnold is going to be the key to their success. I think Matt Rule can be able to do a lot of good things with that young boy. And the fact that they have McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, they have some pieces over there, man. So I'm excited to see what Carolina has. Not so excited about the Jets, to be honest with you, because I'm not impressed with Zach Wilson. I'm not. But I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong for the New York Jets' sake and for Jets fans, for their sakes. Coming up after the break, we'll talk a little baseball on a Tuesday night. It's all even. I've had so many people tell me that Anchor is great. Anchor is this, Anchor is that. But I have to tell you, man, those people were right. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your own podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Why wait? Get at it now. Welcome back, y'all. The Yankees start off the season 2-2. They've had some, decent performances and come up short in a couple, but they don't look too bad. I like the way they look. I think Stanton has looked well. I think Sanchez has come out pretty strong as well. So the Yankees, they're going to have a fine season. There's nothing that's going to stop them other than injuries and maybe some real misfortune. But other than that, I think the Yankees are fine. However, the Yankees go ahead and acquire more help. They go ahead and get Odor from the Rangers for literally a gym bag, a pack of Skittles, and a fruit roll-up. They got him for nothing. The Rangers are going to absorb almost all of his $27 million that is owed to him. And the Yankees just gave him two prospects that may not pan out or may pan out. Who the hell knows? They don't care. But it wasn't any high-level prospects. So now they add Odor to this lineup. The guy has power. 2 years ago, he hit 30 home runs, but he did bat .205. Last year, had a bad season as well. So, the guy has power. And I think in Yankee Stadium, he can be able to unleash that power. Now, can he get that batting average up? I think he's a career .237 hitter. So, that's not good. But he does pack some wallops. So, I'm sure he's going to have some success, because a lot of times when guys leave their respected teams and go to the Yankees, with that short porch, a lot of guys find some success. Yankee Stadium is a hitter's ballpark. So for a guy like that likes to chase the home run, maybe he's gonna have some success. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Odor can be able to do in a Yankees uniform in pinstripes. But I don't have much ill will to the Yankees yet. It just started. Season just started. Give me until June or so. In other news, though, with the Mets, DeGrom pitched the opener and pitched fantastic. 6 scoreless innings, I believe, 7 strikeouts. And guess what happened? He doesn't get the win again because the bullpen collapses, May collapses, and the rest is history. But I don't know how many times I have seen DeGrom pitch gems, Hall of Fame type gems. And for his team to not score any runs or for the bullpen to give it up, it's just like, I feel bad for the guy. I really do. This is a guy that should be averaging 15, 16, 17 wins a season. DeGrom can't even scratch 12. Francisco Lindor can't help. New management can't help. I don't know, man. I don't know what DeGrom has to do. Maybe DeGrom has to score his own runs. Maybe every time he pitches, he got to make sure that he drives in at least 3 runs. Just to make sure he has some run support. Because for the life of me, I don't understand why every time DeGrom pitches, the Mets offense just falls flat. It's like, oh yeah, we got DeGrom on the mound. We don't have to try today. Yeah, you do. How about you try harder to get him some runs? Mets are up 2-1 right now against the Phillies. Dom Smith hit a 2-run homer. Marcus Stroman is pitching okay. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, an earned run. Definitely has to get those walks down. You know, I like Stroman. I think he's a hell of a pitcher. I think he has dynamic talent, but he has to keep those walks down, or else he's not going to get a bag from the Mets. He may get a bag from somebody else, but he has to be good this season. We need him to be good this season, 100%. So, you know, Mets are looking good right now, top of the 6th. We'll see how this ends. But let's talk about the situation that is the All-Star Game. All-Star Game was moved out of Georgia, and now it's in Colorado. And you're hearing some political noise that Colorado is just the same as Georgia. No, it's not. No, it's not. They allow their people to mail in their votes. They don't tell people that they can't give somebody water on a voting line. Like, it ain't the same. It ain't the same. But I'm telling you right now, if Georgia thinks that this is going to be able to stop people or prevent people from voting, nah, it's just going to make things a little bit more crazy. People will just show up to the voting lines or the voting booths, and they'll have barbecues and parties outside. Like, it's going to happen. People are going to bring their own water coolers. They're going to bring their own stuff and just sit there. Like, so, you know, I don't know what they think they're doing, but what I do know is that a lot of businesses are not happy. And this is speculation, but they may end up pulling their businesses from in that area. Who knows? Because, listen, the landscape has changed. Getting away with certain things like that in the past, you can't do it no more. Nah. So, we're going to see how this unfolds, but I do like the fact that the All-Star Game is in Colorado. I think it's going to be great. It's a very, very nice city. Shouts to my man Brandon. But so, let's see how this goes. I want to see. I'm glad to see Major League Baseball taking a stance. You know, it's not something that I'm used to as a baseball fan. For the NBA, yes, all the time, so I don't have to worry about that. But baseball, it's a little strange. The fact that the Negro League stats are now counted in Major League history, that's a little weird to me because it took so long to happen that never actually thought it would happen. And now they're taking a stance like this. So I'm starting to see some signs of life from baseball moving in the right direction, being a little bit progressive. And I like that. You know, it's been the good old boys league for a long time. It still is. But I'm starting to see signs of progression. In other news, in the NBA, Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce has been fired for that IG Live video that he had with the strippers and the massages and all types of nonsense going on. He was drunk as hell. Like, what do you expect was going to happen? My Dummy of the Week came out on Saturday. And man, oh man, in quick fashion, Paul Pierce was given his walking papers by Disney and ESPN. But you're hearing reports that porn company wants to pay Paul Pierce $250,000 to just do what he's doing, like a sports type of show and do that. Like, okay, cool. Like I said, this has been the most interesting Paul Pierce has been since he was wheeled out in the NBA Finals and then ran back out. He hasn't been interesting since. It's like Draymond said, ain't nobody giving you no tour. Nobody giving you no farewell tour. It's not the way we look at Paul Pierce. So this is actually good for him because, people actually want to hear from Paul Pierce now. People think that he's actually interesting. He's not such a, So Paul Pierce can now go ahead and go into other ventures. I'm sure, he's a Instagram legend, viral legend right now. So, he could probably possibly ride that wave and do something else. But nobody wants to hear you on the jump no more. Anything in regards to basketball, I don't want to hear from Paul Pierce. I don't. And there's a lot of people that feel that way as well. So you did us a favor, Paul, and we thank you for it. You're a gentleman and a scholar for actually resigning from ESPN. They didn't fire you, not in my eyes. That you resigned. You took that action and said, you know what, if I do this, this is going to be it for me. You took one for the team. You understood how much vitriol people had for you in regards to your NBA takes and your basketball takes, and you took one for the home team. So I got to commend you. I got to commend you on that. In other news, the Lakers have signed Ben McLemore. He was recently cut by the Houston Rockets as they're continuing to, empty the cabinet over there and get rid of all the veterans and the guys who have big contracts. So the Lakers getting Ben McLemore, what does that do? Well, Ben McLemore can be able to shoot. He's very, very good with that. I think he's like a 40% three-point shooter. He can be a good defender. He is 6'4", very undersized though. So, what he can be able to do with threes, I don't know. He could possibly guard twos. But Ben McLemore, he was once the 7th overall pick in the 2013 draft. He's not a bum. But has he had some success in the NBA the way people thought he would coming out of school? No. Can he carve out a role with the Lakers? Absolutely. With all the injuries and the bad luck that they've had, if he ends up playing good, he can definitely see himself getting another contract. He's 27 years old, so I'm sure they can be able to work something out because they have a lot of question marks for this offseason. Caruso, THT, there's a lot of guys that they have to kind of figure things out. So SCHROEDER, didn't even speak about him, talking about he doesn't want to sign the extension. He's going to wait until the offseason, which I'm sure is probably smart for him, but he's not going to get more money than the $84 million that the Lakers were offering the first time from any other team. So I don't see how that's really, really a good thing for him. But, hey, he wants to bet on himself. Kudos to him. But going back to Ben McLemore, I think Ben can really find a home here. He's not on a 10-day. They sign him for the rest of the season. So he's definitely going to be on this roster. How much time he's going to get, that's going to be up to him and what Frank Vogel sees. Kevin Durant is actually back as well. 2 months for being on the shelf with his hamstring issues, being fined for the whole Michael Rappaport situation. I've already addressed KD. I don't want to speak about it anymore. But he's back now, and now Harden's out. So that's always going to be my issue with the Nets, is that they're talented. Yes, they're world beaters. They're awesome. All of that stuff, cool. But health, injuries. One guy gets healthy, comes back, another guy gets out. One guy comes back, 2 guys are out. They have some age, they have some attrition on this roster with their stars. Can they hold it together? Can they piece this thing together and win a title? I don't know. I'm not on that bandwagon. I'm not riding that wave like everybody else. Nets are going to win the championship. I need to see basketball played. I need to see matchups. I need to see what's going on in the playoffs in regards to adjustments before I can even say that, yeah, they're the clear-cut favorite, blah, blah, blah. I don't do that. I like to see how things play out. But they look really, really good. They definitely have a legit shot, probably more than anybody in the East, other than the Bucks to me. But, we're going to see how this plays out. Oh, how could I forget the national championship game between Baylor and Gonzaga? I don't know why people are so shocked. First off, I picked Baylor to win the whole thing in regards to the bracket. So I won my bracket. I don't know what that means. There was no money involved, sadly. But what makes me laugh is all the people who pick Gonzaga to win. Jalen Suggs is the man. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not denying none of that. Jalen Suggs can hoop. Boy, nice. But at the end of the day, it's Gonzaga. Gonzaga ain't winning nothing. Gonzaga is just like the Utah Jazz. They got the best record in the league. Nobody cares. Because they know Utah ain't winning no chip. It's just like Gonzaga. Gonzaga went undefeated. Everybody's talking about Gonzaga. Oh, they're finally going to win one. Mark Few is going to win one. No. And you know why? Because it's Gonzaga. So my heart breaks for those kids. The fact that they lost that game. They got beat from pillar to post by Baylor. Shouts to Baylor for that. I feel bad for them because they had a magical season. It's over now. But what I will tell them is that if you want to win national championships, don't go to Gonzaga. Don't do it because something will happen and they'll Gonzaga it up and you'll lose. It's just what they do. So yes, I'm in my troll bag right now, but it's Gonzaga. What do you want me to say? Coming up after the break, the greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week, on a Tuesday. So leaving.
Yo, it's your man DJ G Money from that Flip the Script podcast. You see it? We in the studio right now. Flip, shut up. Yeah. Oh, listen. Shout out to the All Even podcast. My man Barry Grant Jr. What's up, man? What happened? What you want to say to the people?
Shout out somebody else's podcast.
Yeah, don't get the joint. What's up?
All Even.
All Even podcast.
Yo, it ain't even up here, boy. We put this what's up, man? All Even. Yo, you. Oh my God. What's up with you, man? Now that's a shout out. You keeping this?
Yeah, keep all that. You want to jump in
All
the
Even
camera?
podcast, right?
Yeah, All
Shout out
Even.
to All Even podcast, right? All Even. That's your man.
My man.
All right, shout out to All Even podcast.
100%. He cool. Is he cool? Let me see. Is he cool?
G. What is it, G? I shout out, G.
Cool, man.
This is Cigar Gents and Gals. Just want to give a shout out to All Even Podcast, the best sports podcast out there. Keep up the amazing work. Also check us out at cigargentsandgals.com. We're everyday apparel for cigar smokers. Let's get it.
What's going on? What's up with you? It's your boy the Candyman, the ALFRE to the D. It's your boy Alfred from the Rap Lab Podcast.
And it's the one and only True G. Just call me the QG from the Rap Lab Podcast.
And you tuned in to All Even with Barry Grant.
Boy, that shit crazy.
Welcome back, y'all. So without further ado, the greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week. We pick candidates on Tuesday and Saturday, and then we pick the winner on that Saturday show. So we got some candidates tonight. 2, actually. May I have the drum roll, please? And the candidates are Kelly Oubre, Golden State Warrior forward, and also the dude that got beat up in the Walmart. These guys are my candidates for, because ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to start with Exhibit A from Kelly Oubre. Roll the footage.
As far as the future goes, Clay's coming back and the ramifications there. Would you be comfortable staying with the Warriors if it meant coming off the bench next season?
I can't speak for the future, brother. So, you keep asking me questions like I'm a psychic, but at the end of the day, I'm growing. I'm honing in on my skills in this league, and I can offer a lot more than, coming off the bench. So, at the end of the day, this is my life. So I can't tell the future. Only God can.
So let me get this straight, Your Honor. This is a guy that, he's a good player. But for him to think that he's not supposed to come off the bench at any point is ridiculous. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, these guys are the leaders of the team. And when Klay comes back, whatever position Klay wants, Klay gets. So if this player is around, you know, he's going to have to get moved to the bench. That's just the way it goes. Now, he's talking about that, oh, you know, he doesn't know what the future holds, but, you know, he's progressing in this league. You giving all that circle talk. He's really saying, I ain't coming off nobody's bench. Now, there's a report that says that there's some Warriors players that didn't like the comment. Andrew Bogut has come out and said that Andre Iguodala is a finals MVP and he came off the bench for Golden State. So who are you to say anything? And I'm definitely on the side of Bogut because in this league, you don't get a lot of opportunities. So if you can get a bench role and really be one of the important cogs in the system for that team, that's what you do. This is a job at the end of the day. And everybody can't be Michael Jordan. Everybody can't be LeBron James. Everybody can't be Kobe Bryant. We need Aaron McKees. We need the Bruce Bowens. We need guys like that fill a role. And for this young man, he's very misguided if he thinks that that's not the case for him. So I don't know how many dummy fruit snacks he ate, how many dummy games he's played, but he needs to figure it out because the more he speaks is the more he's going to get himself in trouble. And as a young player, you don't want to have that type of stigma or image when it comes to these execs and higher-ups. They look at things like this. Things could always be worse. You can always go back to Washington. It's basketball purgatory over there. I'm sure he'll be happy starting every game and losing mostly every game. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this next case is a good one. Please roll the footage for Exhibit B.
I don't know what that nigga problem is, but he looking like he got a motherfucking problem. Come do something, motherfucker. Come do something, motherfucker. I'm over here. I don't give a fuck where you at.
My God. Oh, my God. They going down. Hey.
Now, everybody thought that this was retired offensive lineman Bruce Campbell, and he got washed in a Walmart. No, wasn't Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell said that his hands are certified. He ain't gonna get washed like that. This guy went to Walmart, got crazy, and got his jaw broke. He's like 6'9", 360, and got washed. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you're gonna be big like that and you're gonna talk a good game, just make sure you know how to tackle somebody and not catch a nice left and go down and get your jaw broken by a dude that's like 7 or 8 inches shorter than you, maybe more. And poor Bruce Campbell, poor Bruce. Now he has to always have this come up, right? Somebody Googles his name, this dude getting washed in a Walmart is gonna affect him now. So a coaching career or something like that, it's gonna look bad on him because people who don't know the story are gonna say, oh, Bruce Campbell, isn't he the one that got knocked out in the Walmart? No, it's not Bruce Campbell. It's not Bruce Campbell. It's some guy that talks like a wrestler and got no hand skills. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Your Honor, the guy didn't even have to use a dummy stick to take down this big guy. He just used his hands. He put dummy repellent on his knuckles and went to town. Get him out of here. If I was a doctor and I have to operate on this guy, I'm like, okay, you were in a fight, sir? Yes, I was in a fight. Okay, did you win the fight? Like, how was it a fair fight? Was the guy your size? Was he bigger than you? Nah, he's about like 5'9" or so. I wouldn't fix nothing. I'm not fixing your jaw. I'm gonna let it stay there because you should be ashamed of yourself. Talking all that mess in a Walmart. And by the end of all that crap talking, he was over here licking the tiles. So Kelly Oubre and Big Sleepy, y'all two got to hold the L for right now. But you're possibly, both of you are possibly winners for Dummy of the Week. That's all for this show. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Until then, stay safe, stay cool. Peace. You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at All Even Podcast. Listen to the show on Anchor, Spotify, SoundCloud, and wherever podcasts are available. And check out my YouTube channel, All Even Podcast. And don't forget to share, like, and hit that subscribe button.